Our reading this week focused on two key ideas: managing knowledge and artificial intelligence, and enhancing decision-making. Chapter 11 this week covered how knowledge management and collaboration systems are the fastest growing investment for corporations and government agencies. This is because collecting and sharing knowledge within a business increases the ability of the organization to make business processes more efficient. Knowledge management can be broken down into four parts: acquisition, storage, dissemination, and application. The first knowledge management systems were repositories of documents, reports, presentations, and best practices. However, current knowledge management systems also require the use of business analytics to use data to gather useful information such as tracking sales payments, inventory, customers, and other types of data. Knowledge must then be stored, often in a database. Management should support plans for knowledge storage systems to ensure the data is consistently collected with the same format. This is because once the data is stored, it must be disseminated. By having information formatted the same way, or having the database report all data in the same format, makes dissemination via portals, email, instant messaging, wikis, social business tools, and search engines much easier to use. Finally, once teams have access to this knowledge, it must then be applied. Knowledge must not only be shared, but it also applied to practical problems that add business value. Organizational knowledge must be built into the decision-making process to capitalize on the information being shared within a corporation. If management does not incorporate new knowledge as it is being gathered, then they will not be able to develop the next business practices, products, and services, or markets that will generate profit for the company. Chapter 12 this week discussed how important it is for companies to focus on improving decision-making, as even lower-level employees are starting to make decisions due to real-time information transfer that is common from management information systems today. An example from our book showed how a small manufacturing firm with $280 million in annual revenue and 140 employees could improve revenue by as much as $7.525 million just by making improvements to its decision-making across the company. Some individual decisions are very valuable themselves, such as a senior manager identifying competitive bids from major suppliers helping the company by $2 million. But others are worth less individually, but add up to a significant value, such as inventory manager deciding the levels of inventory parts daily, which could generate $1.825 million for the company over the course of the year. There are three different types of decisions that are made in a company: unstructured, structured, and semi-structured. Unstructured decisions are made based on judgment, evaluation, and insight, as they are novel and non-routine. For instance, senior executives deciding on the 5 to 10 year goals for the firm or deciding which markets to enter are examples of unstructured decisions. Structured decisions are on the opposite end of the spectrum from unstructured decisions. They are the decisions that are repetitive and routine, with procedures in place that already define how a decision should be made. For example, an operational manager granting an assembly line worker overtime pay for working more than 8 hours. However, many decisions at a company are semi-structured, and only part of the problem has a clear procedure for how to handle it. An example might be when a middle manager must determine why a distribution center shows a decline in fulfillment over a 6-month span. The structured part of the decision would be to gather information from the firm's enterprise system on order activity and operational efficiency, but the unstructured part of the decision-making would be to interview employees and gather information regarding external factors such as economic conditions or sales trends before the manager could make a final decision. My selected reading this week focuses on how AI can be used to improve decision-making, and is an article from the MIT Sloan Management Review entitled "Intelligent Choices Reshape Decision-Making and Productivity." The article starts by pointing out that to make a decision, one needs choices to decide between, and as the authors put it, choices are the raw material of decision-making. They suggest that subpar choices will lead to poor decisions regardless of how robust the decision-making process is. Generative AI and predictive systems can support decision-making by helping to generate novel choices that might not be obvious. Although their human counterparts ultimately make the final decision, AI can provide both traditional and unconventional choices that can aid in creative decision-making. AI could even provide choices with trade-offs to aid decision makers in coming up with the best solution for a given problem. Or, as an example in customer support, AI could provide real-time suggestions to solve the customer's problem based on real-time data. This could help the customer service agent resolve issues faster and more efficiently, which would not only improve the customer experience, but would also save the company money. The authors end the article by saying that it is not a question of whether AI will take over decision-making, but how humans and AI will work together to make the best choices for a company.